Yo, what's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soder here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. This is a day that I think all of Raider Nation has been waiting for since it was announced that John Spytek and Pete Carroll were hired as GM and head coach, respectively. We want to get to know them. We want to know what they have to say. Let's get right into it with a little highlight from Spytek.
I've been around truly some of the great players of the last 20 years, and I've got to see what it looks like, what greatness looks like, what competitiveness looks like. I see Max standing back there. He embodies all that stuff that we're talking about, and I just love watching players compete and perform, and I am so grateful to all the men that competed and laid on the line so I could sit in a spot like this today.
Yo, man, I like it, dude. Like, talking about the great players he's played with and shouts out Max. You know, Max has been a little bit funky lately. He's talking about maybe it's a negotiation or whatever, but keep him happy. Keep Max happy. You win with players, and Max Crosby is a player. I like that. I like that very much. This is a little snip from the Pete Carroll speech he did.
When you're in the Bay Area, you can take sides and all, but the Raiders captured me a long time ago, and I'm just filled with gratitude to be part of this. There's so many elements that made this come together that are so special and so unique.
Yo, man, I know he was from the Bay Area, but I always thought he was a Niners guy. But who knew that? He was a closet Raider fan. That kind of be kind of weird. I know he said his dad tried to make him a Niner fan, and now that the Raiders captured him. I mean, that's what Raiders do, right? They go in and capture, and maybe just turn to the dark side, which is good for him. He's finally home. One of the things I always tell people is you don't become a Raider fan. You're always a Raider fan, but then you just find the Raiders. You always have that inside you. You just find them, right? A lot of good stuff here. I like the energy and Pete Carroll. If he's 73, whatever he's taking, I want some of it because, man, he looks like alert, clear. You saw him in the press conference. If you watch the whole thing, he jogged down the steps like nothing. I'm pretty pumped up about this for sure. One of the big tasks for Pete Carroll and John Spytek is to build a culture. That's one of the big calling cards of a Pete Carroll team is the strong culture that they have. Here's what Pete Carroll had to say about building a culture.
To me, I look back at the days in Los Angeles at SC as really the building blocks of the philosophy that we were able to take to Seattle and to carry the mentality and the approach and the design of it and the culture that we established into the NFL to see if it would work. It was really just an experiment in my mind. But in both situations, it just took us a couple of years to get going. And I know that rhythm, and I'm expecting that rhythm. I'm anticipating that we're going to find that rhythm right here, right now.
Man, as an SC fan, I can tell you, those teams were all about getting it on the field, competing, being wild, and being happy for each other. It's hard to do when you have guys that are getting paid to play and they need to be happy for their teammates. But I'm telling you right now, that's the culture they're going to bring. That's the culture that Pete Carroll expects and demands. And then he's going to inspect what he expects, right? Excellent job here. I'm thinking this is going to be a great experience for all the coaches who get hired on and all the players who get brought on because they're going to see what it's like to be a winner. They're going to see what goes into being a winner, not just on the field, not just in the meeting rooms and in the tape study, but also to be a good teammate. And it's going to be a good thing for everyone. Just the fact that Carroll was able to cultivate that with all his years at SC, and then he took it over to Seattle, not knowing if it was going to work, and it did. It's got to work with us too, man. I'm super pumped up about this. Pete was asked about kind of what are the building blocks of his team, and what are some non-negotiables. This is what he had to say about that.
It all starts with competition. I mean, you're either competing or you're not. And I'm going to make sure that that's really clear to these guys from the moment they get here. We're going to go out and draft a class, and there'll be a few free agents who maybe we'll be able to attract. And we'll need to see those guys, and we'll need to see what they're all about. But the competition part of it is theirs to command. If there's one thing that I want them to understand, and start the message right now, if you want to be on a great team, you need to be a great teammate. And so teaching what that's all about and instilling that in the makeup of our program is going to be crucial. And the central theme in the program is always going to be competition, and that's where it starts.
Yeah, man. I've been telling you guys for a long time, Pete Carroll is about the competition. Pete, compete. He's all about it. He's all about everyone pushing each other to be the best because if it's all about competition, the best player for the job is on the field. And if you want to be on the field, you need to be better, be smarter, be stronger, be faster, know where you're going to be. Don't make mistakes. That is a huge thing with us. We had a couple of guys on our team that were making a ton of mistakes left and right. That's not going to fly with Pete Carroll. All right. He's going to make sure that the guys who are on the field and guys who are competing are the best guys for the job. So it's going to raise up everybody's competition level. It's going to raise up everyone's play level because they know, hey, man, I need to make this happen or I'm not going to play or I'm not going to be out of a job. So this offseason, a big question mark is quarterback. And we have some quarterbacks on the roster right now, but they've been seen lacking. And we probably need a little bit more juice at the quarterback position. Here's what John Spytek had to say about some non-negotiables in the quarterback position.
I got a chance to be around, in my opinion, the greatest player ever, and it was a love of the game and a competitive desire that just didn't allow him to quit. He was never out of a fight. He was willing to do things that the ordinary football player or person wasn't willing to do, and we're gonna turn over every stone to find that leader for this team too.
Oof. That's some lofty praise, man. That's a lofty level to hit because if you're looking for another Tom Brady, wow. Well, the good part about that is he knows what to look for and he knows what demands to put on the quarterback to get there. Tom Brady's the ultimate competitor, man. He's always been the ultimate competitor. Not the greatest physical tools, but just a super competitor. If we can get him to impart that knowledge onto any quarterback that we bring in, just the competitive spirit, the fire, the never quit, do anything that it takes to get the job done, and then to, in turn, get that from your teammates. That's invaluable, man. That's going to be a big get for us, I think, just because not only Tom Brady being there, but the fact that John Spytek has seen from afar how it looks, and also Pete Carroll knows about the competition. It's going to be, cutthroat, baby. You have to go in there and you got to perform. It's all about performance. Pete Carroll had a little bit something to say too about the quarterback position, and it was, something that I think we all needed to hear. Check it out.
It's our mission to build this football team up around the quarterback position. It isn't the only spot. We happen to have the greatest of all time to help us and to see clearly, and we're going to lean on Tom as much as we possibly can for his insights, because nobody has the insights that he has. He's that unique. But it's the quarterback position is one of the positions on the team, and we've got to make it all fit together well. I've had pretty good success with my quarterbacks in the past. You can go all the way back to college days, and they've all turned out to be really extraordinary members of our club. There's a way to embrace the challenge that the quarterback has from the rest of the football team as well. We need to support our guy, and we need to do what we can to make that work. It's really about making a great football team around the quarterback position. Coach Walsh taught me a long time ago that it's the hardest position in professional sports to play, and so we need to make it as easy for them as possible. And we'll go about doing that by running the football, protecting them, taking care of the ball, playing great defense, and kicking the football when we want to kick it.
Yeah, man. Quarterback can't do it all. They do a lot, but they can't do it all. You see all these teams that are at the in the conference championships, all have great quarterbacks, but they all have great teams too. They have good players, great players around them. So building that entire unit, man, that's going to be clutch. And I think that these guys are really going to, flip over every stone to be able to find the best players they can. And that's what the mindset you have to have. I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you're drafted. If you're the guy for the job, you're going to get to play, and you're going to be a major contributor to our team. All good stuff, man. I love it. I love hearing. I'm getting pumped up right now. So one of the big questions is, Pete Carroll, 73, he's accomplished everything he can accomplish in college and everything he can accomplish in the NFL, coaching-wise. Why come back? And this is what he had to say.
It's never been about accomplishments. It's never been about that. It's about the game and loving it and playing. I really have realized again in this year, that when you get a year to take a step away from it, it's incredibly valuable. My last time I stepped away from it was the year after New England. I stayed out a year, and the next thing that happened is I went to USC. And to me personally, that the rest was history. It hasn't been about trying to win the championship games so that I can put that banner or that ring in my drawer. It's not about that. It's about competing. It's about being the best you can possibly be with what you have to work with, and taking on the challenges of it, and all of the that goes into making that happen for the players. It's getting the relationships with the players. It's building the mentality that everybody that comes to our program has a unique quality that makes them them. And I'm going to try to figure out what that is and find a way to bring that to the surface. And in doing so, you give everybody the chance to be as good as they can possibly be. That's what this is about to me. And so it hasn't been about just the rings. It's been about much more than that.
Dude, if you want to strap a helmet on and just run through a wall, Pete Carroll's the guy to do it for, man. I don't do this for the championships. I do this for the competition. I do this to be the best that I can. Because when you have that mentality, the championships come. If you go out there and do your best, the championships come. What Al Davis started this whole thing? Do your job, right? He imparted that to Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells imparted that to Bill Belichick. But it all started with Al Davis. Do your job. And Pete Carroll put a little twist on that. It's, do your job, but do it to the best of your ability and then some. By being a great teammate, by being a great competitor, and doing it on the field, man. This is all good stuff. I'm super pumped. I was like hyped when I watched this press conference. I was ready to put some pads on and ready to go. I made a video about, who we can get for our coaching staff. And Pete Carroll had something very interesting to say about how he wanted to build his staff. So check it out.
We're in the midst of getting started. I mean, like John and I were just getting started at it. However, we have been talking to some people, and we're going to try to put this thing together. I'm really looking for people that have been with me, that understand the philosophy to some extent. I want guys that have never been around me before, so that they have to learn what we're all about, and we can watch the process of them learning who we're all about and what we expect. And then I'm hoping that we can maintain some of the terrific coaches that are on the staff too, so we can have the benefit of the insights that they bring and the continuity that they can generate for us. So it's a combination of people that we're looking for, but it's all going to fall back into the same theme. We want ball people. We want guys that love the game. And
man, some of it's pretty obvious, right? You want guys that you've played or trained with and coached with in the past because they know your system, right? But he also wants brand new guys because he's not afraid to learn and he's not afraid to teach. That's one big thing about a lot of coaches these days. The teaching aspect is gone. They just want to get guys on the field and just get them going. This is going to be a teaching environment here. And to be able to, wrap your arms around some of these newer coaches that don't know the culture as deeply, and then maybe get some tips from those coaches as well. And the biggest thing for me is keeping some of the coaches that were already on the staff. That leaves the door open for Patrick Graham, man. Patrick Graham is an excellent defensive coordinator. I think it'd be a really good thing for him to be brought up in that Pete Carroll culture and just add on to what he already has and potentially be the heir apparent moving forward. But Patrick Graham, definitely, I like when I heard about Pete Carroll wanted to keep some coaches from the previous staff. That was a big win for me, I think. Along with building a coaching staff, you have to build a team, right? We got a ton of cap space because we have a ton of free agents. So how are we going to do it? We can do it in the draft, or we can do it through free agency. How's it going to work? Well, GM John Spytek had this to say about how he wishes to do it.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think there's any perfect way to do it. For us in Tampa recently, it was definitely draft and develop. I think at the start of the season, 44 of the players that made the initial 53 were drafted or signed by us as undrafted free agents. I think all but 2 starters were. But at the end of the day, we're gonna look anywhere we can to find a good football player. But our job is to be so open-minded where we will literally go anywhere in the country, anywhere in Canada to find a good football player.
Man, it makes sense. There's no perfect way to do it. If you draft the guys and they're good, you stick with them and you can move forward with them. If they're not cutting it, you have to get more free agents to come in and fill those gaps. But did you hear what he said? 44 players were either drafted or undrafted free agents that they signed on that Tampa Bucks team, and 20 starters, 20 out of 22. Damn, man, that's crazy. That's like the epitome of draft and development, the epitome of it. And if he can bring that to us and draft that way and sprinkle in a couple of free agents here and there, man, that's amazing. I love that. And it gives me a lot of hope for a lot of the guys that I want to re-sign, because you want to keep your current players that are doing well, because it sets a good precedent for the rest of the team that, hey, man, you come in here, you ball out, and we're going to reward you. Man, a lot of the stuff coming on right now, I'm pumped up about this because honestly, yeah, we've heard the talk, right? We've heard all the talk. And you sit back and you're like, yeah, Mark Davis is the worst owner in the NFL, and Tom Brady doesn't know what he's doing, and Pete Carroll's too old, and John Spytek doesn't have a lot of experience. And we can just listen to all that stuff, or we can sit back and wait and say, screw you, you're wrong. And screw you, we're right. Because our time has come. And this goes out to the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers and the Bills and the Ravens and the Texans. There's only one true nation in the NFL, and that's Raider Nation. And y'all bow down to Raider Nation. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation, thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.